No matter what we do at Ability Foundation, we always think of people as people first, not people with or without disabilities. Everything at Ability Foundation starts with that thought, not anything else. As a person, you need to live a whole life as a whole person first. So what makes us want to enjoy our lives as people? Each and every activity that we do borders on that. That too, in same way began the thought of AbilityFEST. We were so happy and fortunate that such a stalwart like Mr. P.K. Nair came forward to assist us in the very first AbilityFEST as the former director of the National Film Archives of India. And we also had the fabulous support of Revati, the filmmaker, actor, and everything all rolled in one. All this put together in a mainstream theatre, in a beautiful theatre of Chennai, to bring to Chennai people from all walks of life. That was our intention. Because I remember when we did Tamara, the fashion show, way back in the 90s, one of the sponsors we approached refused to sponsor us. And the reason given was that company was a cosmetic company and they just said cosmetics and disabilities don't go. That was a huge shock for me. Don't people with disabilities use shampoos, use soaps, or use cosmetics? Are we crying all the time? Is this the image that people have of people with disabilities? So this kind of thinking has been with us no matter what we do. Thus began AbilityFEST. Beautiful movies, not tragedies, not problems, but realistically speaking, heartwarming films from across the globe telling the general public, this is what we are, this is who we are. That was our intention. And movies for deaf people, well, there are captions. Movies for blind people, then came audio description, technology.
We've all had a common objective of making movies accessible and making theatres have accessibility equipment. And both the technology and the law have made it finally possible. So this is, I think, the best year where the complete implementation across India is going to be.
The beautiful thing when a blind person comes and tells, hey, today we watched the film. That words, watching a film, this was a beautiful thing when it comes from a person who cannot see. So all these things like that, well, for me it's a roller coaster ride of emotions. We have come to this, the 9th festival today, AbilityFEST 2025. We have come a long way. We have also improved ourselves with every fest. Doing AbilityFEST, at the time of beginning the first fest, the thought was also that whatever we do should go beyond Chennai, should go beyond the logistics of where we are. We wanted to bring India to Chennai. India was not just Delhi or other places' capital. India was also in the south, in Chennai. And therefore at that time, thanks to the help from Sri P.K. Nair ji, we put together this contest in such a way that people from across the country, people who are not people with disabilities, but creative filmmakers, all thought on what the issue of inclusion was. Just put together a camera. Of course, today all you need is your phone to make a film. But even then, way back then, whatever they had, whatever it took to make a movie, just 1 minute flat, just 60 seconds. Tell us what you think. about the concept of including people with disabilities in any walk of life. Thus came this concept of a national film competition, 60 Seconds to Fame. If not anything else, so many people call this not understanding the word inclusion. What does inclusion mean? Is a person with disability really within and among us? Can he really be included? The more questions we got, the more phone calls we got, the happier we were. Because after all, that's why we existed, to dispel stereotypes and promote inclusion in every walk of life. So 60 seconds progressed. We had lovely filmmakers making such lovely films. Of course, we had the other side of the coin as well, where people who did not understand disabilities made films which were not acceptable to us. But then it was the jury who selected who was good, who was top, and the jury comprised stalwarts in the film industry as well as leaders from the disability sector. The jury too was an inclusive one, so that each one, the people from the film sector and the people from the disability sector could understand the nuances on the subject of the film. Well, it's been a beautiful journey all this time.
I think as an organization, we are committed to inclusion, to advocacy, talking about the rights of people with disabilities. And AbilityFEST fell into that stream of thought, really. So the purpose is really to showcase sensitive, thought-provoking films from around the world, but also films which underline the importance of accessibility. A whole festival which underlines accessibility. So the theatre being made accessible, subtitles, captioning, audio description for the blind. So the idea is there is something for everyone. For the person with disability, for the filmmaker, for the caregiver, for the educator, but something which gets everyone to leave the theatre thinking differently about disability.
AbilityFEST is a film festival which, like I said, I'm a short filmmaker first. So I would not have even dared to enter because I don't think I have the ability to even make a 1 minute short film. I've tried, but I failed. So to see the lovely entries is just amazing, and to see our film as part of the festival is really very beautiful. I think festivals like this is very, very important.
So we need to, for the want of a better word, normalize it. We need to understand their version of normal. Normal comes in a shade with a shade card. There are various shades of normal, and we need to let people introduce the rest of the world to our shade of normal. The message has been planted very, very clearly in the film and the poster itself. Sabka apna apna normal. Everyone has their own normal. We shouldn't try to impose our idea of normalcy on them. That's as basic as that.
This opportunity given to me, I take it as a responsibility. It was fantastic experience. I was so emotionally taken aback.
The best thing we could do with this is really come together, share our perspectives and become one true human family. And my congrats to AbilityFEST in bringing the cinema dimension into this, because life is a very crude, unedited, untrimmed, vague affair. But cinema gives you a good lens for life.
that's like going deep into an ocean, because I think, when we started it, we are not in the business of film festivals. So we had absolutely no idea how to organize a film festival. So I think the lasting memory will be that very first festival when the first film was screened. It was such a moment of excitement, of achievement in a way. But so many other memories, the first time that we had a hall full of blind people watching the film with audio description, listening to their responses after that. The first time that we understood the technology of audio description, I think was very emotional for all of us, that something that we were able to make space for people with disabilities. And of course, seeing people with different disabilities coming in, the response of people, so many memories. Honestly, I think we could write a whole book.
I have a lot of memories of AbilityFEST. In fact, we started our first fest in 2005, wherein we didn't have anything much about. No one knew about what the festival is all about. So we have to speak to so many people about what our ideas on festival was, to talk about inclusion, to talk about empowerment. And that too, what better way than doing through cinema, because cinema is such a powerful medium that we can do with the general public on inclusion. So that way our festival was the one which we thought about. And yes, I mean, the best way of doing an empowerment is only through inclusion. So this was a wonderful experience for the first time ever to see so many people with different disabilities coming to the movie theatre and experience movies. In fact, people without disability, when they came across seeing so many people, they said, "Oh my God, where are these people? Where? We have never seen so many people here. We didn't realize that people with disabilities really exist in today's world." So that kind of an experience, that kind of an audience reaction was there in festival the first time ever when we did it. And since then, we had very beautiful memories. Each festival, ours is the Biennale Festival, wherein every 2 years we used to have film festival, and we were networking with independent producers, with directors, and with other film festivals, bringing in movies by with and about disabilities. And one of the key highlights is, of course, apart from the networking with all these people, we also started making a lot of change in the minds of people who are making the films. Because generally, I mean, I would say much till about later 2000, there was a lot of focus on showcasing people with disabilities on screen in a very pathos or a very sympathetic way. The whole, the music itself was so melancholic. But why do we do that? Even people with disabilities love chatter, love experiencing enjoyment, but that was never shown in the films. Through this medium, what we did was we also ensured that producers, directors, film actors, they should also realize that people with disabilities should be actors as well, to be considered as actors, number one. And secondly, to show them in fun, in a regular, typical way of making a hero or a heroine or a side element or a character to be just at par with the others without disabilities as a character. So this was something that we also made a change in the movie industry also. So these two paras which we were able to merge was a beautiful experience. And AbilityFEST, our India International Disability Film Festival, was also now in the map, the global map of film festivals across the world. Like you have Calgary, you have Toronto Film Festival, you have Munich Film Festival, same way you have AbilityFEST, India International Disability Film Festival, is always showcased here in Chennai. And every 2 years we have been doing it.
As you know, Ability Foundation has been consistently doing the work of creating the kind of empathy in the society towards disabled, not sympathy. And we would like to kind of very clearly call upon the difference between empathy and sympathy. So all they require is the support in terms of we are there with the kind of thing we'll do, and not a sympathy kind of thing. And these films like this, with the subtitles, and they can be very accessibility to them. I think this will always go a long, long way.
I can't be cast, disabled people in the role of a disabled character, and that came true with Ahan. So, how did you land, doing that?
I didn't look at him for his disability. I looked at him in terms of what's there out there, and I wanted to explore that further. I'm a good observer of people in life in general, and I think as a filmmaker, you also need to have that. But I think I've always observed how, differently abled or people with neurodiversity are almost treated as less than human. And that got me thinking that, we must, why? And like, who are we to judge?
The wide range of movies screened at AbilityFEST comprises everything that a person can look for in film, and all the movies are by, with and about people with disabilities. Not just that, each and every film has to be fully accessible for all people who watch the film. In that sense, as far as physical accessibility is concerned, we have ramps outside the theatre for wheelchair users. As far as accessibility for deaf people are concerned, we have captions or subtitles. Some films have sign language also. Now, where blind people are concerned, it's very difficult to describe the beautiful visuals that are happening in the film. A beauty of a movie cannot be discerned just by dialogue, and therefore came this concept of audio description, which technology permitted. Right from the first festival, when we brought out Tare Zameen Par to this festival, we brought out Sitare Zameen Par, which had audio description, and we also had a mainstream blockbuster Tamil film, Tourist Family, also audio described. Well, it's our dream that sometime in the future, of course, the law has already mandated that all movies by a particular day has to be audio described. For us, that is a beautiful, major victory, I would say, for everyone to enjoy the beauty of movies, no matter that they are centered around disabilities or no matter they are centered on the biggest commercial blockbuster. If everything is audio described and captioned, that would be it for us. That's the major thing.
I think this year was special, first of all, because we were doing it after a gap of 6 years. And we thought a great deal before deciding to go ahead with it. So much had happened in between. Would people come? Would we get films? So many thoughts in our minds. But it was absolutely amazing for so many reasons. Films from, I think, 13 or 14 countries around the world. Amazing films. The number of films we received this time with audio description was so many more, which was such an uplifting sort of feeling. Also, we had 2 films that we screened with audio description for the blind. One which was specially audio described, Tourist Family, as well as Sitare Zameen Par. And of course, the high point was having the entire basketball team here. Those are moments that are very difficult to capture really, but they really made it so special for us. Also, our collaboration with film festivals around the world continued this time as well, including, for example, the collaboration with Bus Stop Films, which is very special because their focus is on making films about disability, with people with disabilities, whether it's the cast, the crew, everyone. And that's really the journey that we are trying to go on. So I think with every edition, something more is added. And 2025 was really special on all those counts.
The most important thing that I looked for was authentic representation of the lived experiences of people with disabilities. So we're looking for movies that are uplifting, moving, and very importantly, thought-provoking.
I think the purpose of 60 Seconds to Fame has always been to expand the scope of our advocacy work. So our thinking is that, for example, if one person sends in an entry and makes a 1-minute film on the theme of disability, at least 3 or 4 people are involved in the making of the film. So if you multiply that by the number of entries we receive, that's that many people across the country who are thinking about disability. So that's really the idea. And this year was no exception. We received entries from all across the country. Of course, we have always had an extremely enlightened jury, and our idea has always been the jury must be inclusive. The jury must consist of people who have the power to influence social change. And our jury this time was absolutely no exception. It was chaired by Mr. A.R. Rahman, who's advisor to the foundation. We had actor Simran, lyricist Madan Karki, as well as 2 people who represented the disability sector, Timkesh as well as Shamzala. And I think it was really interesting because everyone brings a different perspective to the table. And that's what makes the conversation so interesting. Of course, I think for every film that is shortlisted, I can't even imagine how exciting it must be for the filmmaker to see their 1-minute film on the big screen at Sathyam. Absolutely amazing. And for the winners, it's a real step forward. In the past, so many of our winners have actually gone on to become well-known filmmakers in their own right. And I really hope that this year is no exception.
Over a period of time, 60 Seconds to Fame has really garnered attention that people started asking us, ma'am, when are you going to have a AbilityFEST? Because that is when we also have 60 Seconds to Fame Film Festival competition. So as been mentioned even earlier, so this is to break the myth on how you look at person with disability with your with a closed lens of our perspective changes the moment you start making a movie. So the joy of making a movie just doesn't lie with one person, but they also have a few people around. They start talking about disability, how to showcase disability within the 60 seconds. That is a challenge, but the challenge also stems from the fact that how to change yourself inward to talk about how this can be looked at in a different lens altogether. And thus, the whole community of people who come through to make a film festival, a 60 Seconds to Fame, changes that community altogether. And then this year we have beautiful entries again from all over India. In fact, we always give each year a theme for the film festival, so they have to work around that theme. So the theme is very important, it's very essential for you to grasp and then to make a film. And that film is something that when they showcase it on the screen, on a big screen, is a huge thing for them, not just for the, just for airing it in a theatre, but also for the people that they showcase it on.
Ability Film Festival is one of my most favorite ones, and here because you get to see films from all over the world that have dealt with disabilities or made by a disabled person, and a view, a universal view on disability.
It's a nice experience because we learn from everything we do, especially filmmaking, stories, the society.
We saw some amazing, beautiful 17 films which was shortlisted by the foundation, and these 17 films were very beautiful. Each film was full of message.
It's a great learning for me as well, because I watched different stories, different ideas came in my mind. And I'm so happy to see all the entries.
ரொம்ப அழகான ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ். ரஹ்மான் சார் கூட, சிம்ரன் மேம் கூட, ரேவதி மேம் கூட எல்லாம் சேர்ந்து இந்த ப்ராசஸில் போனது வந்து ரொம்ப அழகான ஒரு ப்ராசஸ். ஒரு 2 மணி நேரத்தில் சொல்கிறது ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அது ஒரு நிமிஷத்தில் கொண்டு வரணும், ஒரு கதையாக சொல்லணும், அதை எமோஷ்னலாக டச் பண்ணணுன்றது வந்து ரொம்ப ஈஸியான ஒர்க் கிடையாது, ரொம்ப சேலஞ்சிங். ரொம்ப அழகாக பண்ணியிருக்காங்க நிறைய பேர்.
It was really tough to choose the film because everyone, all the films are having different kind of creativity, innovations and ideas, and that really shows that people with disabilities can also make films and be a part of this community.
AbilityFest 2025 is a great experience to us, and we enjoy being part of this festival. And we had a chance to see many wonderful international films that celebrate diversity and inclusion. And also, we had an opportunity to meet many people and share ideas, and like inspired us to celebrate inclusion.
AbilityFest 2025 film festival, I had a great experience on watching many movies from across the globe, and had a great experience with interacting with people with and without disabilities, and I am expecting for the next edition of AbilityFest.
Fun to see children enjoying coming to the theaters, having popcorn, ice cream. Literally, it was a picnic for them, and we thoroughly enjoyed hosting the fest. I had the opportunity to watch some very beautiful movies along with my family, and the first time even when they realized what is audio description and very sensitive movies, I had an opportunity to watch some of the Iranian films, very, very nicely taken. I have yet to see films made with so much of finesse and sensitivity. Some very wry British comedy with the Four Yorkshiremen series. That was fun to watch. Overall, a great experience, and I'm looking forward to the next fest.
AbilityFest 2025 was more like a festival, a celebration where people with disabilities and their stories took front seat and not their barriers anymore. So 4 days of complete celebration with no barriers, complete happiness. That's what happened during AbilityFest 2025.
Taking part in AbilityFest, a good social movement where cinema is used as a medium to break stereotypes and discriminations. So this was a really good, a good experience for me, like to take part in this movement.
The kind of response that we got from the audience, it was very heartwarming, and it felt very fulfilling for me. So that was a great experience.